Everyone, Mohammed here from Amintech. Welcome back to another video. Today guys, we will be doing our first ever hardware review, and it so happens to be the Google Pixel 6, which is a pretty damn good phone and it's a pretty well known phone too. So this will serve as like a long-term review of the phone and its positives and negatives for the time that I've had it as my day-to-day phone, which is just crawling up to half a year now, 6 months-ish, and to be honest, my experience with it has been pretty good so far. Anyways, we're going to be splitting up this video into different categories, each looking at a different aspect of the phone. And at the end, we're going to have our final conclusion onto whether it is still worth it nowadays or not. So let's get into it. Let's begin with battery life. Initially, my Pixel didn't have the greatest battery life in the world. I mean, it would last me a day, but only for light use. If I were to use it for 4 or so hours, it would be close to dying. But it definitely improved a lot within the next few months that I've had it. In the past few weeks, some updates were released by Google. Honestly, made the battery life a lot better. Like just last week, I was wondering how long the battery would last on my Pixel 6 if I left it on a social media app inside a video call. And it happily lasted all day from about 12 PM to 11:30 PM, which is about 11 and a half hours. So honestly, pretty decent battery life in my opinion. 11 and a half hours is pretty decent. It does report that you're going to be getting 13 hours of battery life from 100%, which is not entirely inaccurate if you're using it lightly. But if you're using it in any sort of heavy way, you're not going to be getting that 13 hours. You're going to be lucky to get like 4 or 5. But you will still be getting a decent amount of playtime. So, you know, big battery improvements with the latest updates, which I'm really happy with. And honestly, it's pretty decent. Now, the cameras of this phone. The camera has always been the defining feature of Pixel phones. It's always this one recipe of great cameras for a great use. And that's always been the Pixel formula, you know, and it's always worked. The Pixel 6 is no different. Even after the release of the Pixel 7, I mean, the camera is still outstanding in quality and fidelity. And when taking pictures on a bright sunny day, that's like especially when it pops, when it shows the best that it can give. And it's absolutely stunning, the pictures you can get off it, especially in bright areas. Specifically, I think like bright sunny days outside, you get really good color. The greens are very vibrant. You don't get too much of like, I don't know, it just looks natural. The picture that you take looks really, really natural and really, really, really good. It also comes along with these beautiful purple lens flares whenever you're pointed at a light or the sun. And I think this really adds to the picture and adds to the beauty. Absolutely stunning. Low light photos are also absolutely stunning, absolutely brilliant in almost every single way. Though the exposure time is quite long, so if you're shooting a close-up of something and you're moving around, it does tend to end up being blurry. So that's the only kind of critique I have for the night mode. It looks absolutely brilliant. Like if you were to go out and take a picture of the night sky, for example, it'll be absolutely magnificent. Great pictures, and I don't have too much to say on the night mode other than it works really well and it's really decent. Now, if we go to the ultra-wide cameras, I do have a few critiques about the ultra-wide. There's a significant quality loss from the ultra-wide rather than the main camera sensor. It's usually like that for most phones anyways, but I don't know, it just feels too much of a big gap. You still get those bright contrasty colors, those bright greens, those great colors on bright sunny days, but low light performance just isn't there with the ultra wide. quality loss from going from the 50 megapixel main shooter to the 12 megapixel ultra wide is quite a big loss in my opinion. And we also have the selfie camera. You know, selfies on it are alright. They're not amazing. It's not as good as I would like it to be, like compared to like an iPhone 13 for example. The iPhone has much better, much more vibrant colors, along with a much more defined and sharp looking selfie. Because the sensor is so small, even in well-lit areas, a selfie will still end up soft looking. Here's a few examples I've made, but they all have soft edges and they don't look sharp. Even if you give it a lot of light, there's still soft edges and it just does not look that sharp. Again, you do have the True Tone and all the amazing Google features that you have along with it, so it's not a total loss, but it's a bit disappointing for a phone costing $600 at release. And now we go on to the video. Video for me was quite important when I first got it. I did not record any videos on it for a while, but when I did, the colors were sort of flat. There's just not that much color. If you look at an iPhone 13, going at it again, the iPhone 13's video is absolutely mind-bogglingly stunning for a phone. It's got like really, really bright contrasty colors, beautiful skies you can get in your videos. But all that said, that is at 60 FPS. At 30 FPS, there's a noticeable improvement, a noticeable change. The colors look better, the videos, well, it's processed a bit better. You do get a bit better colors, and low light is definitely improved with the 30 FPS rather than the 60 FPS. But I still wouldn't call it a video phone, if you get what I mean. It's not up there with the iPhone 13, is what I'm saying. But for photos, it definitely is. It matches or even exceeds the photo quality you get on an iPhone 13 or even an iPhone 14. So slow motion and time-lapse are available. Slow motion can go up to 240 FPS at 1080p with no 4K option. And time-lapse is available at either 1x, 5x, 10x, 30x, or 120x. There's not too much to say for these either. They're pretty good. Slow motion hasn't been improved for a few generations, nor has time-lapse, so they're just kind of there, but they're good to haves. Now, let's move on to performance. Now, if you're a gamer or someone who looks for the most powerful phone for around this amount of money, I think you're looking at the wrong place. Because the Pixel, the goodness of this phone does not lie in its performance, CPU or GPU. It lies in how smart it is. But saying that, I mean, I haven't used my Pixel to game a lot. I actually have only played Genshin Impact once and a few 2D games that would run great on anything basically. But I was able to run Genshin Impact at about 45 FPS stable, sometimes a bit more. It fluctuates around 45-50 FPS on the maxed out settings, which is pretty decent, honestly. It's pretty impressive. The GPU on this chip is quite a monster. CPU a bit less, but the GPU is quite an impressive thing. Now, video editing and photo editing on this phone are quite good. Using KineMaster, I was able to render out a 20-minute video in under 5 minutes, which is really decent. With my old S10e, I was able to render a 10-minute video in roughly about the same amount of time. So it halved the amount of time I needed to render out a video, which is helpful if you edit videos on your phone, which I used to do. Now on to the buts, the what ifs, the part of the video where I'm going to tell you, hey, it's a great phone, but has too many problems, or the value proposition just isn't there. Or something like that, but no. In my opinion, the Google Pixel 6 is an absolutely amazing phone to have. It's been it's been great having it from day to day. It's such a smart phone. It's got many useful aspects of it. It's great at dictation. It's an all-round smartphone. Now, it does have its problems, like the purple lens flares, they sometimes get in the way. You know, if you're trying to take a picture of a bright object, those lens flares do tend to obstruct the... no, they don't obstruct, but they kind of don't give you the shot you want. But, I mean, there's only some minor things that I don't like about the phone, including how you can't go into manual mode on the camera completely. So if you're someone who likes to go manual on the camera and do everything yourself, I don't think this would be the phone for you either. But taking all those into consideration, honestly, if you can get it for about €400, 400 to 500, I'd say, would be decent for it right now. Pixel 7 releases at just about €600, 7 Pro at 900. So I think it's a pretty good deal off if you get it for about 400. I went on eBay, seen them going for about 400 to 450 most of the time. I wouldn't pay more than 450 for one. If you are, I would just go for the Pixel 7. I'd just save up a bit more and get the newer phone. If you do get a good deal on it, go for it. You won't regret it, trust me. It's an amazing phone. The updates have definitely fixed any of the bugs I've had with the phone. So far, my phone experience is kind of bug-free over the past few weeks. So if you do experience any bugs or anything, tell me in the comments down below, and tell me if you agree with me or not. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Ha ha ha!